What's up, everybody? Taking a look at Bitcoin right now. We are looking at the fractal on your right-hand side. This is basically what I'm tracking in regards to what is happening now. We can see the whole market is kind of pulling back a little bit. So it's, in my opinion, it's resetting itself so that ultimately it will go higher. The question is, how big is this correction going to be? Should we start buying the dip now? Is it going to be bigger? Should we wait? I can't answer that, of course, not financial advice, but obviously the best strategy generally is the dollar cost average. So we'll take a look at a bunch of different coins and see what we got here. By the way, my Frontier internet went out, so I'm using my phone internet. So I have no idea how long this thing's going to take to upload. So we'll see. That's why I'm trying to keep the video shorter today, but you know how that goes sometimes, right? So anyway, we have the fractal right here, and what we can see, and we've been tracking this for a while, right? You came up, and then you kind of like contorted yourself into this thing. What do they call it? The contortionists, right? They squeeze into those little boxes, those confined spots, right? And then pop. And then you had a little Bart Simpson head here. And then you came back down, right? You had a little bit of a retrace. You pulled back, kind of consolidated a little bit, and then continued to shoot up. So if we look at what's going on here, you got something, something similar. You're getting squeezed in here. You popped up, right? You got your little Bart Simpson head. You came all the way back down, just like this did, right in the backtest zone, The difference is this was a shallow retrace. This was actually a bigger retrace, which is better, right? And then, we came up just like here. And then now, what are we doing? We're flagging out in here, which is a good thing, right? So this one actually, if we look a little bit closer, so boom, 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 and then we should come back up like that, come down, and then do it again, and then shoot up, and then shoot up. So if I had to guess, obviously the fractal is your best bet here, just looking at it, from an outside perspective. That's kind of what we got, something like that. So let's see how that plays out. Now, it doesn't, the way it's shaping up to me, it doesn't necessarily have to do all this, because to me, this looks like a triangle here. Boom, like A, B, C, D, E. It looks like a triangle. This looks more like an impulse, but you only got 3 waves. But look at this, you got 3 up, and now we're getting 3 back down. So we're essentially flagging out in here, right? So, all right, let's get rid of that, and let's look at this full screen. Let's turn on the RSI. We don't have any, we got a little bit of bullish divergence here. Boom, boom, right? So, and it again, so Monday was kind of down. Tuesday was down. That's good. We want to dump early in the week. That way, when we get towards the end of the week, we can have a bigger pump. Why? Because we want a strong weekly close. If we pump hard in the beginning and then risk a big sell-off at the end, then you get a weekly wick that you don't want, right? So we have to keep an eye out for that. So, but ultimately, it still looks pretty good. Now, from like an Elliott wave perspective, it looks to me like it could be some kind of flat, right? So you have, some kind of 3 there, you get 3 up, you get 3 down. So boom, boom, boom. It's a running flat, and now here's your wave 1, and now we're flagging out for a wave 2. So that was our 4th wave, and now we're going up into wave 5, and that should be the final wave, but it should be very big, right? we're looking at the market cap here. So right now we're about 1.89 trillion. Let's see how high this thing can go. Now, if you look at it bearishly, you could say, yeah, well, you got a shoulder, you got a head, and you got another shoulder. You got a head and shoulders here, right? So how do you know which one's it going to be? Is it going to be one of these guys or is it going to be one of these guys? Well, we have to look at the trend line. So you basically just draw the trend line and you watch and you wait and you know, decide from there. To me, I don't think it's going to break the trend line. I mean, it could go quickly, but in and out real fast. But to me, the way it looks, you know, it looks like we're flagging out in here. Boom, boom. You know, so let's zoom in and get a little bit of a closer look, because this is going to be the key for the altcoins to start getting moving. You know, I mean, they have been moving quite a bit. So maybe this is the time for them to have a much more serious correction. Um, so it looks like we have 3 down. And then this looks like some kind of flat. So we have 3 up. Okay, so maybe we get another 3 back down. Right? So then you would get 3 up. And then this would be 1, 2, 3 down. And then we can start heading back to the upside. That's just kind of the way I'm looking at it right now. Could it be finished now? Yeah, it could be finished, right? We have, you know, we have that 3-wave shape. So let's see how this can play out in here, right? So just got to wait and see what happens. So one of the big tells for an alt season is obviously Ethereum. And Ethereum versus Bitcoin hasn't even woken up yet. You can see we're getting really close, right? And actually, you know, Benjamin Cohen on his channel, he put this out, and you can see basically all the Decembers, that's when ETH versus Bitcoin bottomed, right? So we had a bottom, then we continued flying to the upside. You had another bottom here, went back up, had a bottom here. You know, you can see these are all the bottoms. This one didn't really play out, but now we're here December 2024. Let's see how this plays out, because I think, you know, this is a rise. Whoops. We got a rise, crash, retrace, coming down into reaccumulation, and then eventually we should go back to the upside. You can see this 3-wave move here, right? You got this 3-wave shape. So you could say 3 down, or it's actually 5 down, 3 up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So ABC. So this thing should start to reverse soon. If you look at Ethereum versus, or Ethereum USD, you can see, right, we had like this 1, 2, 1, 2, you know, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we had another 1, 2, right? So this thing should be charging, hopefully, back to the upside here. Now the thing is we don't know if we have to come back down, right? Since we had this 3-wave move, do we have to come? Here's your consolidation base, right? Your accumulation. Do we have to come back down and retest that before we move higher, right? Or do we simply flag out in here and then continue higher? I'd probably stick with that one, flagging out. I mean, there's always a chance that we could, but, you know, so this thing is moving up correctively lately. You can see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's kind of just looks like it wants to do something like that just by eyeballing it, you know. But it is going to move correctively because we're battling the retrace levels. So as you have the top and you have the bottom, and this is right in the middle of the retracement level. So you're going to push, reset, push, reset, push, reset, until you can actually break it. It's going to take time. So this is where people get in. This is where people get out. So there's a battle going on, but we should ultimately get through it. So that's Ethereum. So same thing with Filecoin, right? Filecoin, you have your top, you have your bottom, and now you're just come up, reset, come up, reset, come up, reset. So it's going to take time because, we're right in the retracement levels, right? Now, some of them like ADA and H-bar, those just busted right through. So you're going to get some of those coins that do that. But I would say for the majority of the market, it's going to take some work. So this is a pretty extended wave here. Just be cautious. We can always get a pullback, right? And then continue higher. It actually would be a good thing, not a bad thing, right? How do you know when a pullback is coming? Well, you really don't until you get some wave structure. You can see, like on the 6 hour, we got 3 drives to the high. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's bearish divergence, right? So that bearish divergence needs to reset itself. If we go to the 1 or the 2 hour, you can kind of see maybe a flat working here. So boom, boom, and then something like that before going up. Now, it could be a running flat. We could be finished now. We just have to wait and see, right? So I think the best strategy is to just dollar cost average on a 3-wave pullback. So technically, this is 1, 2, 3 waves, right? So, but ultimately, this thing should continue higher. Now, if it wants to be a more serious correction, we could come back down here and sort of retest this area. This is the market cap, so I don't have the price on that, but basically this prior area before moving up. Now, worst case scenario for all of these coins, we have to go down into reaccumulation. So rise, crash, retrace, and then we have to go down into reaccumulation, and then we have to kind of go sideways a little bit and then go up. That would be brutal because that would probably take a little bit of time. So something like that, maybe by March, April, right? And then take off. So maybe not. We'll see. What would be better is if we could just flag out a little bit, break out, and then sort of hold support in here and have like a big 1, 2, and then keep moving. So again, you're right in the middle of the retracement levels. It's just a waiting game. You got to wait for a signal. You got to wait for the structure, right? So you could see this is Bitcoin dominance and Ethereum dominance combined in one chart. Again, my internet's kind of slow, so I'm just using the phone internet. But yeah, we can see this thing is pushing down, which is good. That's what we want. We want this thing to die. That's what we want for the altcoins, right? So XDC is also moving very nice, and it's comes up, 3-way pullback, continue, 3-way pullback, continue. So the trend is probably another 3-way pullback and then a continuation. So it's looking pretty good. So far, so good. Same thing with CFX. It's still got more work to do. You see, CFX, we barely broke out of our accumulation range. We had a 1, 2, right? 1, 2, this is probably 3, 4, and then 5. So it's just going to take some time. Again, worst case, we have to come back here and retest it. And if we fail that, then obviously we reevaluate. But that's what I'm looking for. Bohm is finally waking up. Look at Bohm. Bohm is actually looking a lot better structurally. You know, you had this three-way pullback. You had a bottom. You came up. You have a double bottom. And then you had another bottom. Now you're starting to pump again. So, good deal. Good deal for Bohm. The way I look at Bohm is I think this thing could be pretty big. You know, I mean, meme coins is just a hit and a miss. Some of them are going to do it. Some of them aren't. I have a good feeling about it, but I could be wrong. This is not financial advice. Another one is Dog, Shib, and Bohm. Those are the three I'm kind of looking at. So, and then also Drop. There's a new one out on XRP Ledger. It's an XRP meme coin. It's called Drop. I guess it represents 100 million drops or something like that for the token, or is it 100 billion drops? I can't remember. 100 million, 100 billion, you know. So I like Bohm simply because when you zoom out, look at that thing. That thing looks like it hasn't even begun yet, right? So you have your first wave, which you'll never catch unless you're really lucky. But if you're lucky, you get the wave 2 pullback, right? Because most people don't get in until wave 4, and then they push it up to wave 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your genius buys it here. And then I would say I try to shoot for the wave 2. And then the latecomers come here, and the dumb money gets up here. So, you know, subscribe. And if you're smart money, no, I'm just kidding. You guys are all smart money, I assume, because you're watching this channel, right? I mean, come on. So at the end of the day, we could see this being a 1, and then we're flagging out for a 2, very corrective, and now you could say, well, we're corrective going on the way up. That's true, but you're going to be corrective because you're battling the retrace levels, but also corrections on the way up is good because then by the time you get up here, you come up, reset, come up, reset, come up, reset, come up. So you would have resetted the momentum numerous times versus coming up here and exploding, and by the time you get up here, you're all gassed out, you're tired. Right? By doing it like this, it's better because then you have more energy to bust through it. The chart is alive. It's alive, right? You know, humans and animals, we get tired. The chart is the same thing. This thing is literally alive. So, you know, it's a living, breathing entity that we have to respect. So the way I look at this is a 1 2 1 2 1 2, which is a nest of 1 2 1 2s, which is the most bullish thing you can get. So this thing, we should expect something massive. Now, something a little bit less bullish would be a diag, 1 2 3 4 5, and then you get an A B C, and then you go. So that would be 1, that would be 2, just 1 2. Something much more bearish would be A, B, C. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. Because we already got 5. And, you know, things are looking good. So if we zoom in, look at Bohm. It's starting to push. Look at that. You had a big wick here. You pushed up. So you notice the trend here, right? 1 2 3 4 5, boom. Then you come up 1 2, can't really see the 4th, and then boom, and then boom. So boom, 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 boom. I mean, that's just, that's boom right there. So there we go. So what I'm looking for is to get back to, back up here somewhere. And then we'll reevaluate. So there you go. Link. Now, Link recently just popped, right? So we had that pop. So it's going to take a little bit of time maybe to continue it pumping, but it's looking good. You can see that three-way pullback. Look at that. You got an impulse and a three-way pullback. That would be a DCA for me. So you got near, it pops up. It's sort of just kind of bottlenecking in here. So it's either going to be a flat, but I don't think so. It's kind of too big. More likely it's gonna start to pop very soon. THETA, wow, THETA looks bullish too. Look at THETA. So as you guys know, I've been following THETA for a while. Ever since we had this three-way pullback, you have a big one. You come back for two, right? And then you have 1, 2, right? Now you're in that third wave. So this thing should come up here like that, and that should be 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you get 4, and then you get 5. So there you go. Like we mentioned yesterday, it's probably a flat, right? So you have 3 down, you have 3 up, and then you get 3 back down. 1, 2, 3. W, X, Y. Expanded flat. And then you have this impulse. And now look at this. You're flagging out. So this thing looks to me like it wants to break relatively soon. Now, what if that's not the case? Well, then if it's not the case, then it could be 3 down, 3 up, and then you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, and then go. But honestly, it doesn't look like that. It looks to me like this is more bullish. It just looks like it wants to break out very soon. Let's go to the 30-minute. I would just watch this trend line here. Yeah, it's not perfect, but you get the idea. Okay, XRP. What is going on with XRP? $2. It's still $2.50. That's very good. I mean, XRP has never even been in $2 for more than a couple days or a couple weeks. So this is foreign territory, right? So XRP is finally feeling what it feels like to be worth $2.50. $2.50, right? So, it feels good. It feels good. So what is it doing? Well, it's correcting. This could be the start of a big correction, or it could be it could be sort of the end of a small correction. How do you know which one's it going to be? You really don't, unless you're looking at the small time frames. Now, here's the idea. We do have 3 waves. One, we have 3 there, right? Wait. No, 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3. And then there's 5. So there's your flat. That's an expanded flat. So now we're sort of building a base. So this thing could get going just like that. Very simple. Right? So that's idea 1. Idea number 2. We have 3 down. This comes up and we get 3 up. We get rejected. And then we come back down in 3 or even 5 and then go up. So it becomes a larger, more complex 3-wave move. So those are the 2 ideas. Now, if it's worse than that, then I'm looking at $1.95 right around there to retest that area, which essentially would be that other idea I just said, right? So we want $2 to hold. XRP may never, ever, ever go below $2 ever again. Now, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it could happen. That could be the case. So, you know, I'll tell you what, if we came back down and we retested $1.95, we built a base here, and then we exploded above $4, you're probably never going back below 2 again. Because if you get to $10, $8 to $10, and then you have your bear market, well, you could pull back to like maybe $3 or $4. But certainly not below $1, right? Let's just say that. Certainly not below $1. So let's see what happens. AVAX. You know, AVAX is just kind of one of those, it kind of moves up, you get a 3-wave move, pull up, you get a 3-wave move, and then you're just kind of wavy in here. So the trend is up. You can see we're trending up. Same thing. It's the same structure, you know. So let's see if this breaks out, or let's see if this is a bigger 3-wave. That's basically what it comes down to. ICP, same thing. You know, it's very choppy. Either this is a monster B wave flat, or this is very bullish, a 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1, and it's just going to go berserk. Or this is 3 down, and then you have a B wave, and then you get a C and then go. But it just looks too weird. It looks too elongated. All right, Sheeb. Sheeb had a pretty nice, wow, look at that. We had a nice 3-wave move. We back tested. We're building a little bit of a base, and now we're starting to push up. So the idea is we need to get out of here. Or this is going to be 3 down, 3 up, and then 3 back down, and then get out of there. So either way, I think it's coming. Now, if it's not that, it's something worse than that, then we come back and we reevaluate. But for now, you look at the 4-hour chart, it looks great. You know, you had 3 down, 3 up, 3 back down. There's your 3-wave move right there. You had a 1 2, 1 2 1 2 1, and then you have pull back for another 2. So this thing could be firing up for a big third soon. INJ. I'm not going to do targets. I did targets in the last couple videos. So this one looks kind of similar. You know, it's kind of coiling in here. No comment on that one yet. Litecoin. Yeah, I expect higher prices for Litecoin. Now, I would like to see it flag out a little bit first, right? Kind of reset that momentum. But if we look at the smaller time frames, you can see, look at the flat, guys. You see it? We got 3 down, we got 3 up, and then we got 3 back down. That's 1, 2, 3. This was a buy. That was a dollar cost average buy right there. So if you missed it, you missed it. I missed it. You know, you can't get them all, but, you know. So, so the idea is either this is going to be 3 and then we get 3 back down, or to me it looks kind of finished. It looks like this thing should continue. Right? Boom, boom, boom. You should get another high here. So, if this thing starts to roll over like that, then you're looking at like an expanded flat, right? So, you know, I would look at it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How do you know if it's going to be 3 or 5? You really don't, unfortunately. You just have to have that feeling. Once you do it for so long, you kind of get feelings, you know, and sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. Filecoin, you know, you kind of got it's not a good looking shape, but you got that. So 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. So you got some kind of flat there. The market is full of flats. Once you master the flat, it's pretty easy from there, right? So probably first watch my channel and hear me say flat, flat, flat. Like, what the hell is this guy talking about a flat for? Like, but that's what it is. That's what they are. They're flats everywhere. So look at this. This looks like 3 down. And this looks like it's going to be 3 up. And then maybe you get 3 down later and then go. So it looks kind of like that. Or this is finished. And then this is a 1, this is a 2. And now we're about to just continue. So we're going to have to see when we get to the retrace levels. Monero. I told you guys about Monero. I even tweeted it out. I said this thing's going to break out here, right? Boom. And then it hasn't even broken out yet, by the way. So I could still be wrong, but if you zoom out, look how massive that structure is. This is the daily chart. That is, we'll go to the 2-day chart. This is a 3.5-year long accumulation structure. By the way, it's the same structure as XRP. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. We're waiting for the breakout. This could be a big trade, guys. Monero, I think it's going to be big. Now, what are the fundamentals about it? I don't know. Who's building on it? I don't know. Is it a privacy coin? Sure is. So we'll see how it all plays out. I mean, it's not some juicy, fresh looking brand new coin that just drove off the lot. This thing is old. It's, it is what it is, right? People know about it. But I think that is a good thing because nobody's talking about Monero. Nobody's talking about it. Maybe a few people, but I don't see it. So once this thing cracks, you're gonna get people talking about it. But I'm just letting you know before it cracks. And this I would go even as far as rotating some of my XRP into this here because again, this is the same kind of structure. Now I could be wrong. This thing has the perfect setup. Right? It has the perfect setup. It's flagging out in here, right? But it could come up and it could fail and it could come back down. You just don't know. But the structure looks like it should have a big push. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. All right, THETA. I was wondering where... Oh, THETA is back at $2. I mean, $3. My bad. $3. We're back at $3. Look at that. Ooh. Look at that. Pump, flag, break, go. Pump, flag, break, go. All right. Let's look at the 30, 25 minute. Okay. So to me, we had 1, 2, 3. And then we had 1, 2, 3. And then we had 1, 2, 3. Look at that. Boom. WXY. We had a WXY bull flag, and now this is a 1, this is a 2. Now we're going into the third. It looks like we're going to break out. Now, if that's not the case, what's the other idea? Well, the other idea would be that this is 3, and then we're going to come up and we're going to get another 3, and then we'll get another 3 and then go. So how do you know which one's it going to be? Well, we got to watch the pullback. We got to watch and see what happens in here, and then we'll know. But for now, it looks like this is a bull flag, and this broke out when it's ready to go. So we'll see how it plays. Same thing I would imagine with Theta Fuel. People want me to talk about Theta Fuel, and I do, but it's literally the same thing. So, I mean, not really too interesting right now, Jupiter. And let me zoom out here. So the daily looks pretty good. Same thing with Bohm. This has the same setup as Bohm and Dog, right? You get these 1, 2s, 1, 2, 1, and then you kind of flag out here for a 2, and then you kind of break out. This thing could really accelerate. So I'm already long. I'm just waiting, and if it breaks below, I'll just cut it and then reevaluate later. Dogecoin looks like you got almost 3 drives to the high. You got bearish divergence. Not so sure about this one. Maybe something like it to me it looks like it needs to do this. So Pepe, I think that's about it. Velo is popping. I should have never sold my Velo. Look at that, it's popping. So we'll see where that goes. Flow, you know, again, you're getting right in these retracement levels. So just be aware that we could have a big correction in the not too distant future, or if you look at the smaller time frames, if it keeps coming up, reset, comes up, reset, come up, reset, right? If it keeps resetting, then you could keep the momentum moving. Axelar is another one I've been talking about. You know, it looks like you got a 1 2 1 2. You know, you kind of flagged out in here, and now you're pushing higher. Solana, you got a 3-wave pullback, so I mean that's a nice looking 3-wave pullback. Look at that. You got a nice 3-wave pullback, and you got bullish divergence. So this could be a good long here. If you would have got the low. So yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay, so Theta Fuel. Same thing, you know, it's trailing up, and you're getting these 3-wave pullbacks. 3-wave pullback. 3-wave pullback. Right? So I know I'm expecting it to push higher. Ultimately, you know, that's what it comes down to. So anyways, guys, that'll do it for this video. I'll touch more on more in depth when things get more interesting. That you're kind of just consolidating, going up, resetting, but ultimately we're looking good. We're in good shape. So if you can hit that like and subscribe and drop a comment, let me know what you think, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.